Abbott can't have state law enforcement arrest anyone who isn't physically in Texas, which is why we got Trump saying this.
Do you want the federal government and the FBI to help locate and arrest these Texas Democrats who have left the state?
Well, I think they've abandoned the state. Nobody's seen anything like it, even though they've done it twice before.
Should the FBI?
Well, they may have to.
Also, stop giving him ideas. Unless the idea is, you'll probably float to the ground like Mary Poppins. Love it or leave it. Let's get into it. What a week. Donald Trump has finally met his greatest foe, reality, and maybe dementia, but for now we're saying reality. Last Friday, the Department of Labor released a bleak monthly jobs report. The U.S. had added just 73,000 jobs in July and only 33,000 jobs in May and June combined, making this report the worst jobs performance since Ashton Kutcher. Stupid. Trump, for his part, took the news in stride.
It's a highly political situation. It's totally rigged. Smart people know it. People with common sense know it. And a lot of people to keep their head under the covers. And
let's move on to this.
As always, we wish Biden appointees were even a fraction as scheming as Trump claims. You think this woman was rigging the numbers? This woman has gone to find a grocery store employee because she accidentally rang up an organic zucchini as a regular zucchini at the self-checkout. Trump, naturally, provided no evidence to support his claim. He fired the labor commissioner because the numbers were bad, and so they must be fake.
We're seeing phenomenal numbers. I mean, really phenomenal numbers. We'll be announcing a new statistician sometime over the next 3 or 4 days. We had no confidence. I mean, the numbers were ridiculous. It's a scam, in my opinion.
Look at this tremendous number, Trump continued, turning the calculator around to reveal the word boob. Lucky for Trump, there's a seasoned statistician who recently lost his job due to budget cuts. The economy added 1 billion jobs. I didn't commit. The economy added 1 billion jobs. That's it. You gotta, That's what it is. As usual, a fleet of intellectual Zambonis were following close behind Trump to defend him. Here's National Economic Council Director Kevin Hassett noting that if you just ignore the new, more accurate numbers, the old numbers were pretty good.
While the jobs numbers had this big kind of mysterious revision, if they didn't have the revision, then the jobs numbers were fully consistent with the 3% GDP growth we also saw last week.
In a sense, the play Our American Cousin was a huge success until the revision at the end by John Wilkes Booth. And here's Hassett's evidence for the claim that the numbers were rigged, which is, once again, numbers bad.
Does the administration have any evidence that it was rigged, as the president said? And will you be presenting that to the American public?
The evidence is that there have been a bunch of revisions that could appear to partisans. Oh, I mean, the revisions are hard evidence.
Claiming something's hard when it's not. What is this? J.D. Vance on date night, still in his head over a Twitter fight with Chris Hayes? This is, of course, nonsense because job numbers have always been revised as the Bureau receives more information. And while the revisions seem big as a share of job losses, these adjustments are actually impressively small when you remember that the Bureau is keeping track of roughly 160 million jobs. Impressively small. What is this? J.D. Vance marveling at a bonsai tree. Here's that little twist. Here's Trump's Secretary of Labor, Lori Chavez DeRemer, riding for her boy.
And the president absolutely has the right to determine who is going to be advising him. And I support the president's decision in this replacement. It is my job to support the president in this issue, and I do support him.
But it's actually not your job to support the president. You're not the Secretary of Emotional Labor. William Beach, Trump's BLS chief in his first term, said that the decision to fire his successor made absolutely no sense.
It's impossible for the commissioner to do that. The commissioner does not even see the numbers until the numbers are completely done and they're loaded and ready to be distributed.
So like most bosses, she did none of the work but gets all the credit. Sorry. It's not called producer or leave it. That's how it is. Meanwhile, Trump keeps getting caught up in the reality of his friendship with America's most probably dead sex trafficker, Jeffrey Epstein. And look, we've all had friendships we regret. If I could go back in time, would I go to Cabo with those 4 9/11 hijackers? Of course not. But that's based on what I know now. Trump's deputy attorney general, who was his personal attorney until late last year, went to meet with Ghislaine Maxwell on July 25th. During the meeting, Maxwell begged the deputy AG to throw her a rope, to which she replied, "Oh, don't worry, we'll definitely have a rope for you." Then on Friday, we learned that Maxwell had been transferred from her Florida prison to a minimum security federal facility for non-violent offenders in Texas known as Club Fed, with no official announcement or justification. Said one Trump administration official, "There's nothing unusual about this. Ghislaine Maxwell simply chose to end her life. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. That is for tomorrow's press conference." Now, many are wondering, could her transfer be an inducement of some kind? Yes. Of course it is. On Tuesday, ABC News reported that Ghislaine Maxwell said nothing during her 9-hour interview that would be damaging to Trump, and that the administration was considering releasing the transcripts, though officials are reportedly trying to figure out whether they can redact the part of the transcript that describes Maxwell doing a big wink. According to CNN, top administration officials, including Vance, Trump's chief of staff Susie Wiles, Attorney General Pam Bondi, Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche, and FBI Director Kash Patel, planned to gather at the vice president's residence on Wednesday for a secret meeting to discuss their Epstein strategy. Jeffrey Epstein, of course, planned to join remotely. Vance's office denied the report, saying the CNN story is pure fiction. There was never a supposed meeting scheduled at the vice president's residence to discuss Epstein's strategy, which is a very interesting way to slam a door closed so hard it stays a little bit open. When Trump was asked about the reported Epstein dinner, he and Vance denied it.
It's completely fake news. We're not meeting to talk about the Epstein situation, and I think the reporter who reported it needs to get better sources.
Look, the whole thing is a hoax. It's put out by the Democrats because we've had the most successful 6 months in the history of our country, and that's just a way of trying to divert attention to something that's total bullshit, okay?
And I wasn't even excited about a dinner party because I'm invited to them all the time, said Kash Patel. Holding a bottle of Sancerre Sauvignon Blanc he chose after a deeply vulnerable 15-minute conversation with a clerk at the Wine Star. Also, how about Tim Cook standing between those two fucking guys? He's there to present him with some sort of gold iPhone or something, just like kissing the fucking ring, and then you're standing there and you're like, I don't even know Epstein. Epstein? Who's Epstein? It's like, Jesus fucking Christ. Good. Suffer. Fucking suffer. Stand there and you suffer, Tim Cook. You made your bed. You sleep in it. That's right. You're standing between J.D. Vance and Donald Trump while they fucking yell at the press about some fucking bullshit. It's what you deserve. You stand there. Fucking like it. Tim Cook. Too many cords for the fucking iPhone. CNN reported Thursday that the Epstein meeting actually happened, but they moved it from the Naval Observatory to the White House, outsmarting us once again. On Tuesday, Trump was on the roof.
Mr. President, what are you doing up there? Taking a little walk.
No, stop! Don't do it. You got so much to live for. At one point, Trump could be seen making the shape of a large boob with his hands and mouthing the words, "It's gonna be beautiful."
Or he was just a few moments ago. What's his name, please?
What the fuck is that? It's gonna be beautiful. What's gonna be beautiful, you ask? Why, it's the $200 million ballroom that Trump plans to build. The administration announced last week that the new ballroom would be 90,000 square feet, which is almost twice the size of the entire White House. It's basically the size of a Walmart. Here's what it would look like in practice. That is how big a 90,000 square foot ballroom would be compared to the White House. Why so big, you ask? Trump told reporters it's going to take a pretty big gala to find all the Bennett sisters suitable husbands before the Longborn estate is inherited by that insufferable Mr. Collins. And look, as far as distractions go, this is a good try, but we can still shit on this dumb ballroom/warehouse and stay focused on Trump's failures and scandals at the same time. A ballroom the size of a Walmart? Think of how many unemployed workers, vaccine scientists, and dead pedophiles could fit inside there. The White House also revealed the redesign of the Rose Garden, which Trump recently paved over, covered with Mar-a-Lago-style tables and yellow umbrellas. All in all, a lot of construction for a 4-year lease. Love It or Leave It is brought to you by WebRoot. We take measures to protect ourselves in different aspects of our lives. Sunscreen, seatbelts, security systems. One of my co-hosts shouted condoms from a nearby building. With WebRoot, you can safeguard all parts of your digital life, your devices, personal data, and privacy from threats like viruses, identity theft, and data breaches. WebRoot offers multiple layers of protection to ensure you live a better digital life. WebRoot Total Protection is an all-in-one solution that offers antivirus, identity protection, VPN, backup, and more for one identity and up to 5 devices, or a family plan for up to 10 devices and 10 identities. Their antivirus offers real-time protection from malware, ransomware, and phishing scams, plus a firewall, network monitor, password manager, and more. Identity protection offers family coverage for toddlers, students, seniors, and other dependents, including up to $1 million for identity theft expense reimbursement. WebRoot's VPN and backup allows you to hide your IP address, personal data, and location from hackers, and backup and restore your data with unlimited cloud storage for one PC or Mac. Or if you're just looking for reliable antivirus protection, WebRoot Essentials provides cloud-based antivirus protection for PC, Mac, or mobile devices, including a web threat shield that blocks malicious websites from across multiple browsers. Look, like when you're on God's internet, it's important to have some peace of mind, and having WebRoot Total Protection, making sure you have a VPN, that you have antivirus, that you have these tools is so important. So get 50% off WebRoot Total Protection or WebRoot Essentials when you go to webroot.com/loveit. That's 50% off WebRoot Total Protection or WebRoot Essentials, available exclusively at webroot.com/loveit. Webroot.com/loveit. Live a better digital life with WebRoot. Meanwhile, Attorney General Pam Bondi ordered prosecutors to open up an investigation into Trump's Russia hoax and present evidence to a grand jury in South Florida. Even though the 5-year statute of limitations has expired, John Durham already did this investigation during Trump's first term and ended up with 2 acquittals and 0 convictions. And there is no evidence that any of these crimes, which never happened, if they had happened, would have happened in Florida. But Trump isn't the only one struggling with reality. Here's Nebraska Republican Mike Flood addressing his constituents this week.
Why did you cut SNAP and healthcare research?
We do not have unlimited money in the United States.
Next slide, please.
And then the next slide answered everybody's concerns. I'm going to put the whole thing to rest. Best slide anybody's ever seen. Most Americans now hold Trump responsible for the rising cost of living as he obsesses over deportations and tariffs and culture wars, which has led Republicans to worry that they're courting disaster in the midterms. And Republicans are doing that courting the only way they know how. Being way too aggressive, blaming you for not liking it, and then trying to get their cop friend to scare you for not being willing to hang out again. That's right. On Sunday, dozens of Texas Democrats fled to Illinois to break quorum and prevent Republicans from passing a new congressional map during a 2-week special session. And that is why, on this night, we eat very, very thick bread. For when the Democrats fled Texas, they went to Chicago, where the pizzas take 40 minutes to cook. Usually, redistricting happens once a decade, but Republicans have been emboldened by Supreme Court rulings that scrap part of the Voting Rights Act, rubber stamp partisan gerrymandering, and raise the threshold to challenge discriminatory maps. And maps shouldn't discriminate, except against left turns on major streets when there's no light. Under Texas House rules, each lawmaker is fined $500 for each day they fail to show up. And that's a lot of money, said Illinois billionaire Governor J.B. Pritzker. Texas Governor Greg Abbott could call special session after special session, which Democrats could only stop by remaining out of state and racking up more fines. And who knows how long they can keep that up. People are going to start missing their dogs and kids or whatever. So far, Texas Democrats have been undeterred, which has been deeply frustrating to Texas Republicans. Here's the state's Attorney General, Ken Paxton.
And I think the governor is going to be forced into calling several special sessions. Eventually, they're going to have to come back. There's no doubt they'll come back. They have to. They have jobs, they have lives, they have families. They're not going to live in Chicago, especially when it starts getting cold.
Why? Because they'll hate having a power grid that doesn't conk out the first time it snows? Abbott can't have state law enforcement arrest anyone who isn't physically in Texas, which is why we got Trump saying this.
Do you want the federal government and the FBI to help locate and arrest these Texas Democrats who have left the state?
Well, I think they've abandoned the state. Nobody's seen anything like it, even though they've done it twice before.
Should the FBI?
Well, they may have to.
Also, stop giving him ideas. Unless the idea is, you'll probably float to the ground like Mary Poppins. Many Democrats have long pushed for independent, nonpartisan redistricting, which is what we have in California, Colorado, and several other states, even as Republicans have grown more and more brazen in their redistricting schemes. It's led to an interesting political phenomenon called losing. But the attention Texas Democrats have brought has led blue state governors to step up, at least rhetorically. New York Governor Kathy Hochul called the redistricting fight a war and said this.
If Republicans are willing to rewrite these rules to give themselves an advantage, then they're leaving us no choice. We must do the same.
The problem is, mid-decade redistricting in New York would require an amendment to the state constitution because of a ballot measure passed by voters in 2014 as part of the Ice Bucket Challenge. Gavin Newsom said that California Democrats would move forward with a new map of their own aimed at flipping 5 of the state's GOP House seats next year. It was always going to come down to California versus Texas. Tex-Mex? That's cute, you dust farmers. We put French fries in our burritos on our way to the goddamn ocean. Sure. The California legislature has to pass a proposal by August 22nd to have it before voters in November so the maps could be in place by the elections in 2026. We got to move fast, California. I know it's not our usual move. There's been a 4-year gap between seasons on Euphoria. But still, a lot of us did come from New York. Some of that muscle memory's got to still be in there. Gavin's plan has angered former Governor Arnold Schwarzenegger, who plans to lead the campaign against redistricting. Schwarzenegger considers California's Independent Redistricting Commission his baby, and this baby he has claimed from the very beginning. Which leaves us only one option. Gavin Newsom must go back in time to kill Arnold Schwarzenegger's father, who was a Nazi, so it's fine. There is hope in all of this, in Republican arrogance and brazenness, because believing you can dictate reality to voters when voters will ultimately dictate reality to you is hubris. Just ask 2-term president and beloved national hero Joe Biden. You can fire the bean counters at the Labor Department, but it doesn't change how many people are looking for work. And you can claim tariffs punish other countries, but Americans will feel the average increase of $2,400 in costs. And a lot of people will still be hurt. RFK Jr. announced the end of 22 mRNA vaccine projects based on nonsense. This is real-life damage because the head of the HHS department denies reality. Not only does this give up the promise of so many treatments and cures, it will mean so many people who would have otherwise been autistic will now just be fucking normal and boring. I'll end with this. NPR, RIP, reported on Monday that the Trump administration is looking to shut down a satellite mission called the Orbiting Carbon Observatories. These are satellites that were designed to measure carbon dioxide in the atmosphere, but there was a happy accident, as one climate scientist described it. In how those satellites were measuring carbon, they were also creating a high-resolution map of plant growth all over the world. And that has allowed the government and private companies to use the data to map crop yield, analyze drought conditions, predict when you're masturbating, and a lot of other amazing science. It costs shy of $1 billion just to get these satellites into orbit. It costs relatively little to keep them aloft while providing data for farmers, ranchers, and policymakers that has genuine positive benefits. But now it looks like the Trump administration is going to purposefully burn up a satellite in the atmosphere rather than deal with the reality it describes. And if that is what Donald Trump is willing to do to a satellite that says things he doesn't like, just imagine what he'd do to a hypothetical pedophile with nothing to lose with whom he shares a secret, deep, and long-lasting friendship. He might kill him and make it look like a suicide. Hypothetically. For legal purposes, a bit we're doing. We've got a great show for you tonight.
Big announcement.
What do we got?
Dan's in the Epstein files. So got to get ahead of that.
No, that's not it. We're here to announce something. It's called CrookedCon. In November, it will have been a year since Donald Trump won again. And everyone has had some time to sit and think about what we've all done and what we haven't done. And we wanted to get everyone together who doesn't want Donald Trump or someone like Donald Trump to be president again to talk about the path forward.
Republicans have their CPAC.
Oh, yeah.
This is DPAC.
Oh, yeah.
Why didn't we call
need
it
a better
DPAC?
name?
We're gonna
This is a
break-
terrible name. This is a
Big-
terrible name. Truthfully, Republicans have been really smart about this, and they gather everyone together. And sure, at the beginning, it seemed like a bunch of fringe crazies, but guess who's now running the government? Those fringe crazies who started CPAC. So we need to get together, talk about what's going on, get smarter, get better, maybe trying to figure out how we screwed up so bad in the past, and move forward.
If you have seen the intra-party debate in the Democratic Party play out on the internet and in the media, you've probably noticed that it's maybe not the most constructive thing to do.
Not always.
So a real constructive thing we thought would be to get people together in person and have a bunch of conversations with organizers, strategists, politicians, the cool ones.
If you work in politics at any level, from Capitol Hill to in your community, this is the place to go to learn what's happening in this country, to learn from some of the smartest people out there, and meet the people who are on the front lines trying to beat MAGA.
Plus, we're going to figure out a way to stop those text messages.
Yes.
Truly, like, if there's one thing that can come out of this event, it is stopping the text messages, Dan.
I don't think we should put that on ourselves. The measure of success can't be attend this event, never get an annoying text from a Democratic politician again.
It's a high bar.
And it's going to be in D.C. We're going to gather at the Ellipse.
Gonna be wild.
It's gonna be wild.
It'll be wild. It'll be wild. Yes.
No, it's going to be at the
Wharf.
It's gonna be at the wharf.
We're calling it the Wharf.
Are we calling it the wharf?
Right?
It's the wharf.
It's going to be a place that's so new that when we lived there, we didn't even.
It was just a dock.
It was just a dock. Now it's a whole wharf. And in case you guys think it's going to be just us neo-lib Obama shills, we're going to have
way to the right of us.
people from across the political spectrum. If that political spectrum is from the left to the center right,
It'll run from the left to Tim Miller. Basically, that's and Sarah, that's really the bounce.
we're going to get everyone together and we're going to have some fun. We're also going to do a Pod Save America show the first night just to kick things off. And then the next day, we're going to all get together and get down to business, you know?
Yeah, get down to business and fun.
There'll be alcohol.
Yeah, Dan's going to do shots.
Dan's going to do shots.
If we can solve the text message problem, I'll definitely do shots.
Yeah, what happens at the wharf stays at the wharf.
Is it even called the Wharf?
We don't even know if it's called the wharf. What if it's not called the wharf?
Anyway, get your tickets. crookedcon.com.
Is it crookedcon.com?
Yes.
Hey, great job getting crookedcon.com.
crookedcon.com.
Stay tuned for more information, but we're going to be announcing our lineup soon.
November 6th and 7th, Washington, D.C. Be there. Grab tickets. Go online. crooked.com.com. Sorry, I can't believe we're getting crookedcon.com. Crookedcon.com. Crookedcon.com.
Respect it.